Fitness Pro Mentor community, welcome to how to make $100,000 in 3 to 6 months. I'm extremely excited for this training because, to be quite honest with you, I think nowadays, more than ever, knowing how to build a career to make over $100,000 a year is something that's just critical. Unfortunately, the world is changing a lot. Things are expensive. There's a lot of big changes going on, and you being able to create enough revenue for you and your family is such a critical step. Before I jump into today, I just want to tell you, I'm really excited about this. This Fitness Pro Mentors community, just in case you're new or you haven't heard me talk about this before, I've been working as a trainer for 17 years. I've got a gym in my town called Strata Internal Performance, which is a very niche messaging system focusing on a specific demographic of clients. We have an incredible full-time list of trainers that work here. And the majority of our trainers who are full-time are close to or are making 6 figures a year, all of which, except for one, generated all of their clients through the systems that we're teaching here today. The other one worked bone-ass hard for quite literally 15 years to get a full-time schedule. Several of our trainers here and many of our students through the Fitness Pro Mentorship are full-time trainers in less than 3 to 6 months, following some of the steps that we're going to be talking about today. Now, what I want to kind of exemplify through this whole thing, I'm going to share some numbers with you, show just how simple it is to actually hit these numbers, because $100,000 seems like a really aloof, almost impossible number to actually hit. But the truth is, it really isn't. It's fairly simple. All we need to know is know our numbers and have a clear idea of how we're getting there. And if we actually know system-wise exactly what we are doing to hit those numbers, it just becomes that much easier. What I'm going to share with you today is I have a document that we're sharing in our mentorship, and I'm going to just share it here for free. And if you want access to it, that's cool. Happily share it with you. But truth is, there are only so many ways you can grow a business. And today, we're going to talk about each one of those pieces. So first and foremost, trainers. If you're an evidence-based trainer, you already have an incredible niche, which comes down to this first point that we have to talk about if you want to have a career like this. You need to have very, 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 very clear messaging of who you serve. Now, one of the things that ends up happening is trainers get really, really excited about the products they have, right? The features of what they do, right? I do kettlebell training, and we use a Gatsu kettlebells, and boy, are they just amazing. Highest quality kettlebells, right? Really, really fantastic. The features of the kettlebells is they offer a level of anaerobic conditioning that just no one else can compete with. That's not true. Well, here's the fun thing is that if we think about the features and benefits of what you do, the CrossFit training, the muscle system work you do, the rehab style work, the weight loss work, we can't just talk about how we have a unique way of thinking of weight loss. We can't just talk about the technical prowess of the alpha gamma co-stretching system that we're using in our product, because truth is, our clients don't care. And I'll tell you that right off the bat, your clients really do care about something. If they are going into Google, they're listening to their friend talk about something that you do, there's an opportunity for you to do something to help them. They want help. They have a pain in an emotional sense, so to speak. If they have a pain, it's our job in our messaging, in the words that we use, to try and figure out what they're going to care about. And this is the great thing, because if you think about if you were going to make a purchase decision right now, you're going to go into Apple and you're going to go to Google and you're going to look for the best computer. You're going to look for the best Rodecaster Pro audio interface, right? Think about the things you would type, right? When I go to YouTube and I'm doing research I just got a brand new drum cymbal. Very excited, right? This Meinl Foundry Reserve 22-inch light ride, right? I don't want to clarify. Those words I just said to you, the name, no one even knows those names. I'm a drummer, and I barely knew those words, which is awesome that I got a new piece of gear. But I also had to learn and look up, okay, what dark, jazzy cymbals are there? And then this popped up on that bucket list, which are my favorite sounding cymbals. So when someone's Google searching their problem they have, right? Think about you and what they would be looking for. Well, they're either going to be looking for ways to resolve their back pain, exercises for herniated discs. They're going to be looking for specific wording that can help solve their problem. And unfortunately, they're probably going to turn, if you're in the pain management evidence-based world, they're going to turn to chiropractic, physical therapy, and a lot of the things like that, even more so than the things that you would be promoting. So this is where we already have a challenge. So if you have a unique title, like perhaps you've taken, let's just make up a name so we're not putting ourselves in a corner here. Say you're a neuromuscular kinetic specialist, right? And if you have that cool title, I mean, that's a really, really fancy set of words. But no one is going into Google and searching neurokinetic specialist, right? No one is looking for that. Even if you have an advanced technique, you say advanced neurokinetic technique. That's fine. No one's searching that. They're looking up personal training, exercise, weight loss strategies, back pain. They're looking up rolling for back pain, stretches for back pain. And this is where our messaging has to line up with that. It has to. And if you're not using the right words and you're already marketing and advertising and you're not getting leads, it's not working. It has to change. We consistently get double-digit leads in our gym, and it's because when people see our wording on our business, it's so evidently clear that we help people solve problems from one side of their body to the other with exercise, and we create short-term changes they like, and then we use resistance exercise to keep it there so they can get more out of their life. Messaging is so key. And I'll tell you, I'm for fun helping a professional drummer develop his online business right now. A lot of fun. The biggest thing we had to change was the words that he used, and his business has 5x'd since we started working together 4 months ago. All comes down to the words. Now, let's say we get that out of the way, and you get comfortable with the idea and wording that people are compelled by. Because keep in mind, that's really a big thing with marketing, is we're using language that compels people to come in, messaging that people are compelled by. And we have a niche avatar that I've talked about way too many times, so I won't talk about that today, but we have to be speaking to the right person. Because if you're trying to talk to a 35-year-old about back pain, there are some 35-year-olds who have back pain. But if you want to help resolve people with back pain and you want to try and make that your niche market, helping people exercising with back pain, there are probably way more people in the 55, 60 category that have the resources to afford you and can actually would like the value of the back pain resolution. We got to focus on those people. Can't necessarily focus on the 35-year-olds because there's probably a small amount of them. There's some good people there. I don't want to lie. But we need to make sure that when we're writing our copies, our messaging, we're speaking to one person. Now, that's all fine and dandy. Let's get to the next point. We also need to know some numbers. Now, I'm not going to talk about tracking today because we've talked a lot about tracking, and I think tracking is extremely important to talk about. What I want to talk about is how much are you charging? If you have a niche and a specific demographic you're working with, you should be charging more. There should not be anyone as awesome as you in your area for the target demographic you're working with. Dan Garner, who I interviewed a while ago, talked about how when he was in a gym, a Gold's Gym, there were 25 shredded, huge bodybuilding dudes, and he put up there a nutrition specialist or nutrition consultant. And he got so much bigger than everyone else because he was different than everyone else, and he was good at the thing that he did. So how do we make sure that you stand out, pick that avatar? But then when we start choosing rates, make it $100,000 a year. Not as bad as you think it is. Let's break it down. Now, I chose some fun numbers here because I think this is fun. So let's say you take 6 weeks vacation and you charge $100 an hour. In that scenario, you need 25 hours of humans per week paying you $100 an hour. And at those numbers, you're still making $115,000 per year. Now, that's awesome. It makes it so much easier when we think about this. Because if you only need, let's say on the low end, not talking about 2 or 3 times a week clients, you need 25 once a week clients to be a part of your schedule at $100, that is easy. And let's say we're being extremely realistic and you're going to have people drop off, right? Maybe you have someone that sees you bi-weekly and some people see you twice a week. Let's say you need 35 people paying you $100. You, for 46 weeks of work a week, can make $115,000. Think about the population in your town. In my town, there are 100,000 people. Of those 100,000 people, I need 35. I think that's 0.0035 people of the population of my town. If that's the case, You just need to be in front of the right people. You just need to be seen. You just need to be heard with one of these little 5 business growth strategies that we're going to talk about. How awesome is that? 35 people. Now that's a lot because we're talking about in 3 to 6 months. Well, how many people is that? Well, let's say we need to get you 5 people a month. That's 30 people in 6 months. And if you get more, boy, you're blasting. I mean, we got one student that just went from 7 hours to 30 hours in 12 weeks, right? That's nearly 4. That is 4x, which is just incredible. So $100 an hour. You need to choose the right price, because if you're charging too low and getting to those bigger numbers, it's just going to be way, way too hard. So you need to be charging $100. If you got a unique thing, it's going to be way easier because you actually have a unique problem that you solve, and you can do something amazing with that and stand out amongst the rest. In my town, I am definitely my town's most expensive personal trainer. And I don't say that as a flex, but it's true that I just do something better than really anyone else does. And maybe if I don't even do it technically better, I'm a better communicator, so people leave understanding it more, which allows me to charge $150 an hour in my small town of 100,000 people. It's funny saying that. I lived in China for 6 months, which is funny because you tell people nowadays you live in China, it's like a whole thing. But it was like 12 years ago, and I said, I live in a small village. And I would say, how many people do you think were in my town? And some of the students were like, 1 million, 2 million. Right? They have huge cities there. So of 100,000 people, you just need a few people. Okay, cool. So 6 weeks vacation, $100 an hour. 46 weeks of work, and we just got to get in front of the right people. So that's not that bad. So let's talk about this. If you are here, do you have the right person that you're talking to? Do you have the right messaging? Are you making sure your words land? We just took on a new student today. I'll tell you, we're going to be focusing on his messaging entirely, because the words you use will be the most powerful vehicle in your arsenal. If people read your stuff and they don't get it, you are in trouble. And that was a big mistake that I made. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to shift over to perfect. Look at this. And let's just change this camera to this, because not that one, this, because that looks much better. So this is just a new quick Coles note. It's actually a checklist for our students, but I thought, hey, you know what? Why not? Let's talk about some simple things here. So if you know these numbers, here are all of the ways that you can grow your business in a simple list. And if you see this list again somewhere else, they took it from us. So first and foremost, I'm just joking, by the way. I think that's pretty funny. So first and foremost, one of the things you can do to grow your business is outreach. And you've probably seen the online business coaches talking about direct messaging outreach. And you got to message 100 people, 1,000 people a day. Listen, there's a component of that works, but as many of you know, if you think about that, that just also generally sucks. I mean, I had a business coach, and I hired him and said, hey, I don't want to be messaging people all day. And he said, hey, no problem. You won't have to. And then truth is, that's exactly what it turned into. So I don't work with that business coach anymore. I don't think you need to do that, but I think there are definitely ways that you can strategically direct message people. Outside direct messaging, there's also cold calling. Now, I also, same thing, right? This door-to-door salesperson, like I also write here, door-to-door, not super fantastic, not super fun. But I'll tell you what, one, if you go and practice these cold calls and door-to-door, you will learn so much about sales so quickly, and learn how to communicate with people and compel people to even listen to what you say. That's a huge thing. But truth is, how I like to use cold call and door-to-door is I like to use it with business to business more. Because this, for me, in my opinion, connecting with different businesses, outreaching to people that I don't know, is a very powerful strategy. Chiropractors and yoga studios and Pilates studios, for me and our business, have been game-changing because there are similar demographic people that go to those places, and we have a lateral service to them, and it all works together. Just super, super fun. Next, and this is a major focus of our mentorship, because quite honestly, this is where most people are really struggling. 2022, it's going to be about to be 2023 in a few months, which is crazy. The landscape of marketing has changed. I took marketing in college, and social media wasn't even around. I mean, Facebook, I literally got invited to join Facebook when it was like that invite only thing when I was in college. So social media was like in its infancy when I was paying to learn about marketing, and all that stuff I learned about some cool sales strategies and how to network with, business to consumer and business to business, which we'll talk about here in a second. But social media wasn't a thing. Nowadays, you can create free content like this and like this so easily to capture people's attention. In fact, Fitness Pro Mentors has completely scaled just based off of content. And it's because we're constantly trying to give away information that people care about to capture attention and speak to people and show through our content that people work. This thing work, people work, our stuff works, and things work. So what kind of content is there? Well, there's social media posts, right? Social media posts are really quite obvious. There's so many different types now. There are posts, there are reels, there are stories, there's IGTV, there's YouTube. All of these are different types of content that are consumed in different ways to capture different levels of attention to get people in front of you. This is where the messaging, the former conversation, is so important, because if you're not saying something that people care about, they're not going to listen. You can have flashy images and it won't matter. I mean, that's part of the reason why I'm doing this. Full disclosure. I'm trying to help you grow your business, and I hope this video helps. And if you like me and you find this helpful, maybe we'll work together. That'd be super cool. But the truth is, for you to have a 6-figure business and be able to afford a house, a car, and be independent, we got to get good at this stuff. Or, like I was telling you with one of my guys, you got to work a long time to build that up. I'm not patient. I want to have this fast, have this happen faster for you guys. Number 2, this is actually my favorite way to get business. I call them conversion events. What kind of events can we do that helps to convert people into your business? Honestly, I used to call this expert status, but truth is, it's kind of both, right? You do an event of some sort. You do an educational event at another chiropractic clinic talking about your services with a strategic story to how you orchestrate the presentation with specific strategies at the end to capture contact information and convert people using this or that sales tactics that we teach in our mentorship, right? Having a conversation, offering multiple options to different temperature lead levels so people come in. Lateral to that, you're also building expert status, because there's this thing I like to call the podium effect, right? If you don't know me, but you're in a room of 200 people and I walk up on stage and I stand on a podium for a split instant until I open my mouth, unless I screw it up, you think that I know something, right? You're giving me your attention because the mob, so to speak, is giving me attention. And there's a soft expert status that is given to me. And then if I have some information that's worth value, like even right now, if you're listening to this, there's still some expert level status that I have been given because I have your attention. There's authority of me in front of you just for a short period of time. And so this is incredible, because if I do a really good job and I have some incredible information that is a shareable idea, it's engaging, it's educational, and it nurtures something that you're struggling with or you're interested in, right, that alleviates a pain or satisfies a desire, you're going to talk about it. And if I say, hey, I got an incredible thing that's going to help this conversation keep going, something like a lead magnet or some piece of content to keep everything rolling, well, that's even better, because then you can keep the conversation going. And this is how we have one of our clients that literally has gotten, since last Saturday, 5 new clients in the schedule, just because he did a great event, great job, great follow-up, and now he's here. Lead magnets is a type of content. I did put it up here, but it's an important thing to talk about because it comes back to the messaging. If you're not giving away something that people care about, you're in trouble, right? If you're trying to give away free stuff and no one's showing up, then there needs to be a reevaluation of what you're doing. And this is where I think lead magnets are so great, because if you can have something that's better than a brochure, because brochures are like, hey, look how great we are. But if you go, hey, here's a way that you can feel better from the stuff we do, you can give them an experience. And once you make them feel something, they'll never forget it and they'll never leave. I also am a big fan of creating communities. Now, in-person communities are great, but I like online communities because they fit into your sales cycle in a really, really, really great way. Now, referrals and indirect referrals, like really quickly, referrals are a fantastic way to grow your business. The reason why it's not at the top of this list, honestly, is because referrals are really tough to scale. You can get incredible leads, but let's say you have no clients or you have 4 clients, right? If you got less than 10 clients, if you have even 20 clients, you ask everyone on Monday, all 20 of them, do they have someone that they could recommend to you? You can't ask them again on Tuesday, right? And people only know so many people, so they might have a maven who's someone who's a great speaker on your behalf, but they're only going to be around or only be able to refer as many people as they meet and talk to, and the people who can afford or are interested in your service. Referrals are great. But I'll tell you what referrals are really good for, and you can use different indirect referral strategies, is you can create some content and ask your clients, instead of like asking for a referral, you can ask for the client to do something on your behalf to help their friends. Hey, camera, I just created this new piece of content that is 3 ways to lose weight in 14 days. 3 ways to lose 5 pounds in 14 days. Do you know anyone in your world that might benefit from this? And if they say yes, that's a sneaky way to pass someone that you care about and a client who's a paying client, a piece of information to someone else and create an opportunity to get an indirect referral. Hey, you gave that book to somebody? That's amazing. What did they think? What do you think they're struggling with? Hey, do you think they'd be open to connecting? And then now there's some really great ways to build your business that way. 2, collaborations. These are my favorite, honestly. It comes back to, well, on top of also doing presentations, I love doing all this. I love all this stuff. I love business growth, right? But if you, especially as a fitness professional, can create allied health professions between physicians, paramedical providers, nutritionists, yoga, Pilates, all of that stuff, all those people, you can create great partnerships. Several clients in my schedule this week. I mean, if of the 27 people I saw this week, I would say honestly, I think 10 or 11 of them off the top of my head have come from referrals from strategic partners. One of which is a strategic partner who pays me. 2 of them are strategic partners that pay me to work with 2 chiropractors to come to see me to help them with their muscles. How cool is that? Now, another thing you definitely should consider is how do you create a collaboration with another business, a not allied health professional? Like, how do you create a relationship with a real estate agent, provide something to them of value to their clients? Very cool. Last thing I'll throw out there at the very bottom of this is paid advertising. And I'm not going to talk about that today. And even in our mentorship, I don't talk about paid advertising. There are some paid things that I do, but I really don't think that there's any benefit unless you're already making $20,000 a month. And in most cases, if you're at that number, it's your business, not just you. Sometimes it's single people, which is super cool. But at the end of the day, this whole thing comes down to some very simple variables. In 20 minutes, we're at 21 minutes. I want to just reiterate, if you are not marketing, start. You will learn a lot about marketing by just trying to promote your stuff. If your stuff does not draw people in, that's okay, but you need to change something to figure out what is, because the difference between my business and your business is people show up from my advertising, and I figured out my market both demographically and psychographically to help expedite that process. You need to do the same thing. You have to be a figure-it-outer. You have to figure out how to use these different softwares and pieces of content and video editing things and scheduling softwares, if you will, to make this all work cohesively. If you want to go faster, I want to help you. And please let me know, because I mean, honestly, from today, I would love to, for free, help a few people out and give you some feedback and audit your content to tell you what you can do. Once you are there, if you're not getting where you want, make sure the words you're using make sense. Make sure your words, like you show it to your grandparents and your parents and say, hey, what am I selling here? See what they say. Because truth is, if they're like, I don't even know what you do. And you're like, well, I offer a strategic approach to maintaining and improving skeletal muscle function. You're like, that's great, but I don't get it. Like, well, who's that for? Right? But if you write, I help people feel better faster, struggling with pain, with resistance exercise, so they can get back to doing what they love. There are a lot of people who can go, oh my gosh, that's me. Once you are in this mindset, you have to get your rates right. I mean, honestly, if you're listening to this, get your rates up. Raise your rates to at least $100, because once you are there, you will be already on the road to the 6-figure category. I tell all of our students to get to $100, and some people who are 60 are like, what? Like, honestly, just do it. Just do one big jump, pull off the Band-Aid, get there, and start working from there. Follow some of these methods we just talked about. But most importantly, don't be afraid of asking for help. I have mentors and I have people that I consistently ask for strategic help to help me consistently grow. And the one thing I have seen over and over again is if you do the right stuff and you got the right push and you are accountable and you got the drive, you will make anything you want to have happen. Anyway, that will be it for today's call. If you'd like a copy of that PDF, comment below PDF and I will send it to you. If you are a personal trainer in the evidence-based world, even in the online evidence-based world, we got something exciting coming out in January, so stick around. Please comment below and let me message you. Let's have a conversation. Truth is, I just want to see more trainers succeed. And I'd love to work with you, but if I can help you a little bit through some direct messaging with some small feedback, some tiny stuff that's going to help you blow up your business, I would love that too. Because truth is, the reason why I do this is, yes, this is a part of my business, but truth is, exercise is just a powerful tool. I just want to have more people be benefited by it. And there are brilliant people like you who are fully capable of making incredible changes. So everyone, my name's Brandon. the founder of Fitness Pro Mentors. I got a gym called Strata Internal Performance. I play drums. I've got a beautiful family. My wife, Katie, my son, Maxwell, daughter, Hayden. Beautiful family. Love it. And I'm just honored to be here. So thank you so much for watching. I hope all of you have an incredible weekend. And let me know if you'd like a copy of that PDF. Bye, everybody.